So are you in Medicare? Are you a licensed insurance agent? Or are you looking to get into the industry? In this video, we're going to talk about how Medicare Advantage commissions work. I get a lot of questions around how do Medicare commissions actually work? And yeah, it is a little bit confusing, but we can kind of break it down to show you exactly how it works for those that are new and for some of you that are basically getting commissions now, but kind of unsure on how you're even getting paid. So the first thing to know is that Medicare puts out something that's called Medicare allowable. And that's the maximum amount that you are allowed to make from an insurance carrier on your Medicare Advantage sales. So when we talk about Medicare maximum allowable, that's a term that's pretty much equal to street rate, right? That's what we hear as agents. So agents get street rate. For the most part, nationwide, for 2025, that number is $626 for an initial enrollment, and it's going to be $313 for what we call a plan renewal. So the first thing you need to understand is what is initial and what is renewal. So an initial commission is essentially the first time a Medicare beneficiary selects a Medicare Advantage plan. That could mean they're turning 65, aging in for the first time, or that could mean, hey, I'm leaving my group employer, I'm 67 years old, I'm retiring, and this is the first time I'm going to be on a Medicare Advantage plan. Doesn't matter what time of the year you actually enroll that person, you're going to get that full Medicare allowable, which is $626. The other part that I talked about was that plan renewal, that renewal rate. Well, that works a little differently. Okay, so if you sell this person during the annual election period and they're on the plan for the full 12 months for the following year, then you're going to get the full plan renewal rate, which is $313, right? And that's going to be paid up front. Now, what happens is if they go into effect, let's say February 1st, so they're only on the plan for 11 months, you're going to get a reduced plan renewal rate, which is essentially reducing it by 1 month, right? So you're going to get $313 minus $26.08, and that would be your commission for the remainder of the year. Now, as the year progresses, that renewal rate actually declines a little bit, right? Because it's declining by that 1 month that you're not earning renewals. So that's essentially how initial and renewal rates work on the Medicare Advantage space. For the most part, that $626 and $313 is pretty standard across the country. However, there are a few states that they actually get an increased rate because of cost of living. An example of that is California or New Jersey. So for instance, in California, the initial rate for someone that is new to Medicare is going to be $780. And then the renewal rate is going to be $390. Right? So for the most part, that $626 and $313, that's pretty standard. But again, if you're living in some of these states that have a higher cost of living, you could see some adjustment. So another question that I often get is, what does direct pay mean? As an agent, when you're contracting with a carrier, as a 1099 agent, you can decide whether to get paid direct or to get paid through your hierarchy. I highly recommend to get paid direct. And what that means is the carrier is going to pay you specifically for each of your sales, both whether it's an initial, renewal, whether it's residual, right? So in that situation, you make an enrollment, the carrier knows that you get that enrollment, and then you're gonna receive a check or a direct deposit for the actual commission amount. Now, some folks decide to put their commissions through their agency, and there's some carriers that will only pay this way. What this means is your commission is actually paid to your hierarchy. So it can be paid to your FMO or your upline. And in that situation, the FMO or your direct upline is responsible for making the payments to you. Residuals, residuals, residuals. That's why we get in this business. That is the real reason why agents decide to come into Medicare and not some other industries within insurance, is that the residual business inside of Medicare is pretty profitable. Now, when it comes to residual, we're looking at basically when you have a member that renews on their plan for the following year, we talked about that $313. Well, that $313 gets split into 12 months. And that basically breaks down to $26.08 per month. And you're going to hear something called PMPM, and that means per member per month. So in today's world, if you had 100 members, right, on a plan that is renewing, you're going to essentially get $26.08 times 100 every single month that your members are on the plan. As that progresses, right, the goal is typically to get just over 300 members. Why? Because that's when you're earning about $100,000 in renewal income. And we have a surprise for you a little later with our new commission rates that definitely puts it over that $100,000 income threshold. Now, as an agency, I get asked all the time, well, how do you make money, right? Because if we're paying agents or agents are earning 100% of street rate, then where's the wiggle room for an agency? So for us, we get paid based on an admin fee. So we contract with carriers and we have conversations with carriers that say, hey carrier, we're gonna take care of compliance, we're gonna take care of marketing, we're gonna have the right enrollment tools, we're gonna do all the right things to help produce numbers for you as a carrier. And in exchange of all of those services that we provide to our members and to our agents, the carrier actually pays us a fee per application that our agents write. So it's the best of both worlds. The agent gets to keep 100% of street rate, and us as an agency, we get to make that admin fee. And that's how we operate on our cost. So here's the exciting stuff. Good news, if you're a Medicare agent already and you have a book of business, you're getting a raise in 2026. We just got word from Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services that commissions for 2026 will have a substantial increase. For the national rates, for initial, we're looking at $694. For the renewal rate, we're looking at $347. Now again, if you're already in this, we've kind of taken that national number from 626, right, all the way up, as well as that 313 all the way up. For those agents that are out in California, it's a pretty big one. Have it here on my phone, so I just want to call it out. It's going to be $864 for an initial sale. For Medicare Advantage, it's going to be $432 for a plan renewal. So it's a good time to be a Medicare agent. We're getting a big raise this next year. Guys, so if you enjoyed this video, you got a lot out of it, please subscribe. And if you have any additional questions, guys, any topics you want to talk about, please leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have out there. We'll talk to you next time.